Sometimes when you make a project, you have a clasp and it's too small, or it's a heavy project and you just don't really think that a clasp will hold it. Or you might want to make a scroll just for the design purposes. So this is a good project for those cases. So you always have a scroll clasp available whenever you need one. With about 1.5 inches of 18 gauge wire, you could probably go up to a 20, and you know, and really you're going to gauge it according to your project. The bigger the project, the heavier the gauge you'll use. I think for this project here, I used about a 20. So first thing you're going to do is you take your hammering block and you're just going to hammer just the ends. This is not absolutely necessary, but I find it's easier just to get a tighter curl when you do hammer the ends. So I'm just going to curl it right in one end, and then I'm just going to go to the other side, and then just go, if I have it turned in this way, I'm going to go the other way. Okay, so I'll show you what I have, and this is what I have so far. Okay. And now I'm just going to take my pliers, and not really holding them too tightly, I'm just going to start to shape it into sort of a loose S. Now this is just the beginning of your scroll. You don't really have to have it perfect to start out with, but this is where you're just kind of shaping it into a little S and preparing it, because you're going to do a hammering in the beginning. Okay, so this is what I have so far. So it's sort of just a loose S. Take your hammering block again, and then we're just going to hammer just the center, nowhere else. So I use the ball-peen hammer just to give a little texture, and it's also going to harden your clasp, so that's going to keep in place when you put it on your jewelry, when you put it on your project. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a little more work here. Now I can stretch it out, you know, if it's not exactly the way I want it. You know, this is where you're just going to really shape it into what you want to do with it. So now if you notice, I'm kind of working it. I'm not quite there yet, but you're just playing with it until you're starting to feel like it's looking the way you want it to. Alright, so if some people would like a bigger bottom and a smaller top, I'll show you another way in just a minute as well. So now I'm getting closer to where I want to be with it, and so that would be sort of an S-shaped closure of a sort. What I can do now is I can just kind of do a final hammering, because it's sort of exactly where I want it to be. If you're going to put it on a piece of jewelry or something like that, you would just have it for, you know, just go sideways, open it sideways like that, slide it onto your jewelry piece, and then close it up. And then the other side would be to attach to the other side. Okay? Another way to do another closure is, it's more of like a double loop closure, and you're going to need a little more wire for this. I'm again using 18 gauge wire. I cut about 2 inches. Starting exactly the same way, just hammering the ends. Once again, you're going to just curl the ends, okay, opposite ends, so that's one side, and then the opposite side. And when you're at this point, you're going to go right and find the center of your scroll, okay, and then just bend it in the center. So this is what you'll have so far. You can bring those ends close together if you want, and then that would be what you have so far. At this point, you're just going to take your pliers and you're just going to roll it up on both sides. Okay, so now we have this. Now those circles are turned in. I want them out, so I'm just going to turn them out. Just one twist of your wire. It's easy enough, and don't worry, it's not going to overwork your wire. So this is what we have so far. Okay, now put it on your hammering block. I just did the middle part. Again, I'm making it stiff. So I'm going to keep working it a little bit. The intention with this would be you'd have one side circle like this, and then the other side would attach to that part. Okay, and again, you can keep working with this. You could even open that up a little bit more if you prefer to have it open. You could have it open like that. Make it a little more spread out. I like it a little bit tighter because it just gives you just a little more stability. So I've already hammered the ends and curled them in. And if you notice, I've already made one with a bigger loop and a smaller loop, and then the double loop as well. Now I'm going to do 2 even size loops. Okay, so just again, we're going to just start the same way, and then just make your loose S. Now, when I'm making my loose S, it's just going to be a little more even this time. So I'm going to have more of the same lengths on both sides. So I'm just working it to make it just a loose S like that. Put it on my block, hammer the center. Now I'm just going to continue to work it. And like I said, just kind of trying to make it a little bit, so you're just bending it more at the top like this, and then bringing it down, and just keep working it. And I've made a sort of a bigger one here. And so instead of this style, it's more of this style that I'm looking for. So more like that. So just continue to work it, bring it up, and you can just keep rebending it as many times as you like, and then after you, of course, you're going to do your final hammer when it's exactly the way you want it to, and that will make it nice and stiff for you. Okay, so continue to work it, and then you would come up with something like this, which is just a different version of this. And then once you have these links, you can use them as a closure, like I said already, but you can also use them as a link. So I have some of these pearls that I've just attached, and then what I would do is just open these end loops and then just slide those loops on. And once you have all the components together, I mean, you can really quickly put together a necklace or a bracelet or whatever you want to do. So if I just open all those loops, and then you could have it like that, or if you wanted to, you could just kind of put it right on. Like for instance, you could do it right onto that middle loop like that, and then close it up like that. And what I have to do in order to get it on, because this loop is too big to go through the loops in my that I've made, so I'm just opening up that circle and then just stringing it right on to the center, and then just close it, and then I would just close it up. So there's that kind of look that you can do. So there's several different ways that you could do this, and you know, come up with some ideas. Another way is just to take one of the sort of flatter links that I made, and then just I have a turquoise bead that I've just put on. You can make it into sort of a pendant. Just open that link again, and then just right on the circle like that, and then you could just do a briolette on the end, and that would just give you a very simple, quick pendant style, but it looks really good on. So that's just another idea. Alright, so that concludes the tutorial. Hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming. Bye for now.